Brilliant. Okay. So this is our April cleanse and heal. We've got a lot to clear, but we're going to spend just a few minutes starting to get our energy, our aura sort of shiny looking. First, we're going to do it in a physical way, and then I think what we'll do is we'll also visualize that, which might be really helpful. So, and I'm trying to remember how we do this. Okay, so I want you to put your arms out. I've got to move my candle so I don't burn myself. Put your arms out to your side. If you want to stand up, go for it. I'm going to sit because I've got stuff balancing on me. But basically, put your arms out to the side. And then I'm just showing you what my arm's going to do. It's literally just going to come up to the top and stop. Okay. But you're sweeping that energy with the breath in, and the breath comes down or out as your arms come down. So let's do that about 10 times. I will try and count them, but I can't promise. Okay, so when we're ready, let's take a breath, breathing in, arms up. And if you can breathe out through the mouth, that would be really helpful. And again, breathing in. And again, out. And we're going to speed this up. So go at the rate that feels good for you. And if not, what am I trying to say? Keep up with me if that feels okay. If it's too fast or too slow, go at your rate. It's your breath that's important here. Okay, so whenever you're ready. And now the next one, when we get our arms up to the top, we're going to start from more up here, and then we're going to cross our arms over at the top up here. Again, same thing, your breathing rhythm at what's right for you when you're ready. Relax the arms down. And now the final one is we're going to scoop forward, and then we're going to bring, imagining as we scoop forward that we're dipping our hands into a pool of golden water. And that golden water is divine love, is divine light. And we're going to put our hands into it, scoop them up and over down the back of ourselves. Okay, so when you're ready, begin. And then if you just place your hands in prayer position in front of your heart, just notice how you feel. And now, keeping your hands where they are, closing your eyes, just imagining that there's a beautiful white, brilliant white, squeaky clean, fluffy cloth polishing the outer edges of your aura, allowing it to be all shiny and transparent, knowing that we are in a sacred circle. We are protected by the light gang, the beings of light. And then when you feel that your aura is sparkly, shiny, clean, you'll have a sense of that. Whether you can see it or feel it, or whether you just know it, is very individual. but trust your intuition to let you know. And then allow the universe to take that cloth and to disintegrate it into magical sparkles, transmuting all the negativity that it took from your aura and allowing the universe to use that energy. Now, again, still with your eyes closed, just check in. Are you in the center of your aura? What does your sense tell you? And if you're not in the center, we ask that your aura adjusts itself so that you are. We also ask that your aura is at least as wide as you can reach your hands in all directions, above, below, but specifically to the sides and the front and the back, so that your aura is expanded. When we expand our auras, it's much easier to feel, to know, to be aware of something that's going on in our aura, in our belief systems, than it is if the aura is contracted and next to the body. When it's contracted and next to the body, we feel things a lot. We tend to identify with beliefs much more than if there's something sitting on the side. So by expanding the aura, we allow ourselves more space between us and the thing, which we will begin to clear in a little moment. And now we just ask that all energy that is not yours leaves your aura. It has the rest of the universe to be. So it is now being required to leave your aura. You may get a sense of a grayness leaving your aura. You may, which is what I've just noticed, a little bird-shaped energy disappearing off. You may just have a feeling of it being clearer or brighter or safer, or just knowing. Just trust how it shows itself to you. And now let's just check. Going to the edge, just being aware of the edge of the aura. Can you receive love in as easily as you can release love out? Just checking the permeability. The flow should be balanced in as well as out. And if it's not, again, we ask the aura to adjust itself, knowing that we are in a safe space. We are held by beings of love and light and healing. And in fact, I ask them to step forward now, coming into this sacred circle, this group heart, as we allow ourselves to begin the healing journey. Okay. So now get yourself comfortable. Make sure you've got water to hand. And if you like to write and make notes about how things processed for you, how things felt, what you noticed, grab a notebook and pen and just keep that handy. So today or tonight, we are looking at feelings of lack of joy, lack of connection, lack of play. We're looking at patterns of self-sabotage, creating problems or chaos, feeling unsafe when things go right, which is not our normal expected way of things being, but also really, really common. And also the deserving of good things, feelings that get in the way of that. We have self-doubt, And for those of us in small businesses, this one might be really relevant. Are my offerings worth spending money on? This is one that is coming up for one of our members, particularly as they are spending or investing a lot of time and effort into writing their offerings, writing their programs. So the self-doubt is coming in as to what they're offering. Is it worth it? Is anyone going to want it? And of course, these are little bits of information that get stuck and they clog our creative flow. And then we meet resistance, which is one of our old friends. So we'll also look at the resistance to creative flow. I'm just going to jot that down because it's popped in my head. Okay. We also are going to look at clearing, how could we call this? Basically, that glass ceiling that means we can't get above the thing that we're trying to leave, that we are ready to move beyond. We can't seem to get beyond that and sitting on the next level up in this new vibration. I'm hoping that that makes sense, but as the words start to come, as we start to clear it, things will resonate for you. Part of that would also be the old habits that bring you back to sabotage, chaos, which we've mentioned already, but also the old habits that keep us stuck in an old way of thinking and feeling. And we'll also look at, or we'll look to bring in the kindness, the connection. I'm just jotting these down so I don't forget. Love, joy, play, because there's not enough of that in most of our lives. A lot of us are deficient in that, I think. Okay, so let's just take some breaths together and let's really start to settle. I want you all to get super comfy. Make sure you're cozy. I'm going to get my blankie all snuggly. Okay, and make sure as well that if you are sitting in a chair, your feet are in front of your knees so that your legs, your thighs can rest and you're sitting in your pelvic bowl. But again, try and keep yourself upright rather than slumped. What we want is quite a lot of openness across the clavicle, across the chest, so that we are really connecting to our breath, to our heart chakra. We're aligned through our central channel. Okay, so with that piece done, I'm just going to squiggle this forward so I can rest things on it. Let's just take some breaths together. We've done a lovely little clearing sequence on our auras. Let's now connect with the body. So your feet are ahead of your knees if that is the way you're sitting. If your legs up and comfy, that's brilliant. Just get yourself super comfy. And let's take some breaths coming in through the nose and then a long out breath through the mouth. And we're going to repeat that 3 or 4 times, just allowing ourselves to get connected. And as we do that, I'm just going to start to play some clearing music. And I'll just check the sound volume for that as well. Okay. If you can have your palms facing upwards, leaving the body open. And we call the angels, our guardian angels, the helpers, the light beings to stand with us, to support us. With your next out breath, just allow your body to relax more deeply into the chair or the sofa, the bed, wherever it is that you are. Allow the cushions and the pillows and the comfort to really support your body. And as we breathe, let's allow ourselves to connect to that divine oneness, the energy of light, of love, of connection, creativity, support, magic, the energy of joy, happiness, comfort, safety. Let's allow that energy to come in with each breath. And with every out breath, let it push out to dissolve anything that's standing in its way. Begin to feel the strength of that energy. Feeling held and supported. Trusting. As this energy is flowing in and through you, begin to send down a grounding cord, a beam of light, down from your root chakra, down through the layers of the earth, the rock layers, the aquifers, the crystals, down, down, down to the fiery creative center of Mother Earth. Connecting your grounding cord into the earth womb. Inviting your cord to find the perfect place for it to secure itself. This might be embedded into the side. It might be wrapping itself around a beautiful rose quartz crystal. Whatever feels right for you and your imagination, now's the time. Just play, experiment. Begin your awareness journey back up the grounding cord if you haven't already, bringing itself all the way up to the base of the spine, up through the layers of the earth, past the aquifers and crystals, soil and rock layers, up through the layers of the building that you're in, connecting to you, becoming aware of your pelvic bowl, your medicine bowl. Breathing in to that medicine bowl through your root space, breathing up and in. Let's fill that medicine bowl with alchemical light. And that just means a comfortable, transforming light. Your medicine bowl may be bubbling like a witch's cauldron. It may feel radiating of light. You may just get a sense of yourself sitting within your pelvic bowl. However you become aware of this is perfect. As you stay present with this light in your pelvic bowl, this energy, imagine that it becomes so full that it fills the whole of your body, rising up allowing your body to become a radiant, transformational vehicle. You are not limited by your stories. You are not your feelings, beliefs, and opinions and judgments are just that. They are not truth. And so as we begin to call forward these themes that have already been given to us, I ask your heart and your mind, your hara, to stay aligned with allowing yourself freedom from these restrictions and limitations. So those first energies that we start to pull forward, to call up, are patterns of self-sabotage, revisiting old habits, feeling stuck with the way things have been and not being able to move on. So I ask the light gang to highlight all of that, and that's a big energy. And all the tiredness, the exhaustion, and the frustration that comes with those repeating patterns. We highlight all of that. The sense that there's something wrong with you. That phrase we often use, what's wrong with me? We call that feeling, that thought, that idea up as well, and we highlight that. And everywhere where these feelings, these patterns create chaos, overwhelm, panic, where there's a complete lack of clarity and focus, we highlight all of that. And so everything that is, angels, please fill with love, light, and healing. Healing in the body, the mind, and the spirit. As we call forward everything that underpins all of that, everything that holds it stuck in place, everything that comes from it and feeds it. And we now deconstruct all of that, dissolve all of that, delete all of that across all layers of infinity and dimensions, constellations, patterns, and ancestral timelines. And so it is. Everywhere where there's still parts of you that are not ready to be different, to be the person that you are choosing, wanting, striving to become, everything that holds you back and holds you stuck in the old way of being, can we highlight all of that? Everything that underpins it, everything that holds it stuck in place, everything that feeds it and comes from it, highlighting all of that. And now we deconstruct it, dissolve it, delete it across all layers of infinity and dimensions, constellations, patterns, and ancestral timelines. And so it is. Any external forces that are at play, we ask that to be highlighted. And we now relinquish their control. We formally reject their control. And every impact that that's ever had on us, we now deconstruct that, dissolve that, delete that across all layers of infinity and dimensions, constellations, patterns, and ancestral timelines. Angels, can I also ask you to step forward and begin with each individual person's permission? And so this is where you will need to say, yes, I agree to that, to your angel. Please now remove, release, rewire the way that our brains have been patterned to this. Start to deconstruct that, dissolve it, delete it. If the person is in agreement, say I am. Deconstruct it, dissolve it, delete it across all layers of infinity, dimensions, constellations, patterns, and ancestral timelines. What we're asking the angels to do here is to take out the old wiring, the old patternations, what we call the neuroplasticity. And the brain is really able to learn new things, which for a long time we didn't really accept that the brain could have new cells, new ways of being. And now we know that they can. Those old cells can be released and new pathways can be created. And so we're asking the angels to take away those old pathways and to help create new pathways towards the people, the women that we are choosing to become. I'm going to give that some moments. You might feel kind of fizzy in the head. Just trust your angels to do exactly what's right for you. And if it's not right for you right now, you do not need to receive this. You can always come back to it. Okay, that feels like it's coming towards the end. I'm going to see what else is left with this. Okay, so the first thing that shows itself is the deserving of good things. Now, I mentioned that we'd look at this, so I want to just pull this thread a little more. There is the idea attached to this that if something good happens, it's a bit like that Muller Light yogurt advert that we used to have all the time. If something good happens, something terrible must happen in its place. And that's not actually true. It's a fallacy. So can we highlight that fallacy of if something good happens, something bad must happen in its place? And also the idea that you have to do something or be something in order to be deserving of good things, of good experiences. Can we highlight that, please? Yeah, I can see that that's old wiring as well. So let's have a look at that, and is there anything more here? Can you show me? As I look at these threads, I will keep encouraging you, and I hope you will remember to keep coming back to that light that's infusing the whole of you, that's coming up through your medicine bowl, that's coming down via your crown through the divine as your breath comes into the body, meets the body, nourishes the body. All of these layers are working to create light and space and healing in all levels of you. Okay, so everything that is about the feeling like you need to be or do something in order to deserve good things. Everything that we mentioned already, can we highlight that, please? And everything that underpins it, everything that holds it stuck in place, everything that comes from it, and everything that feeds it. Highlight all of that. Now let's deconstruct that, dissolve that, delete that across all layers of infinity, dimensions, constellations, patterns, and ancestral timelines. You may notice I yawn quite a lot when I'm doing these. That's usually my signal that the energy is shifty. You may have a slightly different signal, but don't be surprised if you do yawn quite a lot through these, especially when you're engaging, actively releasing and giving permission for the energy that is prominent for you to be released. Okay. So let's have a look at this unsafety. When good things happen, feel unsafe. Okay, so the first thing we address here is when something is unfamiliar, our minds want to go towards what's familiar just because we know it, not because it's better, but just because we know it. So we also need to reframe the thing that is new for us as being, we need to keep repeating to ourselves, it feels good to me. I really enjoy this. Universe, how could we have more of this? This feels really lovely. So that we can start to create safety in the body, in the mind. It's the mind rather than the body, to connect with the good thing and start to let go of the old way of being that wasn't so helpful. Another aspect to this is also feeling the good feelings and doing really long, like in breaths and long out breaths, long out breaths, just so that you can settle the nervous system as you feel these good things, so that your nervous system can tell your mind, it's okay, everything feels good here. So everything that currently gets in the way of you, us, any of us, all of us, feeling safe, trusting, thriving, when good things are happening in our lives, everything that is, can you please highlight, angels? Everything that underpins it, everything that holds it stuck in place, everything that comes from it, and everything that feeds it. Everything that is, we now deconstruct it, dissolve it, delete it across all layers of infinity, dimensions, constellations, patterns, and ancestral timelines. Okay. Okay, I'm just putting some symbols, Reiki symbols in our group, in our sacred circle, so that we each have access to the Reiki and the power within those mantras. You don't need to know what they are, so if you haven't done Reiki, that doesn't matter. They are available to each and every one of you. And I also a request that each and every one of us has a duplicate set of those symbols running around us and through us as we do these healing sessions. Great. Okay. Let's go back to that unsafe. When good things happen. When things go right. Okay, so everywhere where there's an addiction to struggle, everywhere where there's story attached to struggle, everywhere we just don't know how to do anything other than struggle, can we highlight all of that, please? And we're using a power Reiki symbol at the moment just to start to obliterate that. So everything that is about the struggle, can we highlight it? And everything that underpins it, everything that holds it stuck in place, everything that comes from it, everything that feeds it, let's highlight all of that. And everywhere where it's a human condition and we just accept that that's how it has to be, can we highlight all of that? Everywhere we've been taught this ancestrally, culturally, let's highlight that. The old adage, if you don't work hard, you don't get anything. Let's highlight all of that. Okay, so everything that is, angels pouring love and light, please, and healing, thank you. Everything that is, we now deconstruct it, dissolve it, delete it across all layers of infinity, dimensions, constellations, patterns, and ancestral timelines. Okay. And the next layer I'm noticing as it comes up actually feeds into something else that another member was asking, which is the self-doubt. There's an aspect of, is it okay for me to have this goodness in my life? Is it okay for things to go right? Is it okay for things to flow? Seeking permission, needing permission, everything that is. Can we highlight that, please? You have the permission of the divine oneness of the universe. It's all you ever needed. And everywhere where you just get in your own way. What I'm laughing at is they've just said, just stop getting in your own way. And I kind of like the way they make it sound really simple, but it's not so simple to do in practice when you don't always recognize you're doing it. And even if you do recognize you're doing it, the momentum of the habit of doing that can be quite strong. So let's include all of that then, please. Also the momentum that goes with this. Okay, so everything that is. And everywhere where you didn't have the freedom to choose this for yourself, that you learned someone else's way of doing this, of thinking about this, everything that is, let's highlight that. And everything that underpins all of this, everything that holds it stuck in place, everything that feeds it and comes from it, highlight all of that. Now, deconstruct that, dissolve that, delete that across all layers of infinity, dimensions, constellations, patterns, and ancestral timelines. So it is. Okay, thank you, angels. Okay, so they're saying we're going to have some freedom. Bringing back in there. And the right to choose, that sovereignty. Right, let's have a look. What else have we got here? Is there any more in this patterns of sabotage, creating problems, etc.? Okay, so everywhere where you just don't trust that all will work itself out. Everything that is, everything that underpins it, everything that holds it stuck in place, everything that feeds it and comes from it, highlight all of that. That includes the thoughts, the feelings, the momentum, the habits, the cultural beliefs, all of that, highlighting all of that. Now deconstruct it, dissolve it, delete it across all layers of infinity, dimensions, constellations, patterns, and ancestral timelines. So that alchemical fire that was in your pelvic bowl, let's just make sure we really are flushing that up and out into the energy system, burning away any of that debris that might still have been left. And in your pelvic bowl, that alchemical fire will transmute it and transform that energy into something else. Think about how much energy we tie up in the difficulties, in the problems, and we could free that energy up to something much more creative, joyful, and freedom giving. Happiness. Yeah. Okay. So let's have a look at this next piece. Right. Okay. So this is particularly for those of you that create offerings that then are offered out to others. Whether you do this as a self-employed person or whether you do this as part of your ordinary, your job, your paid work, whatever that looks like, or even if it's just your way of cooking, things like that, you're creating something and offering it out. You put a lot of time and energy into that. So let's just highlight here everywhere where you yourself are not valuing your time and effort. Let's put that in there first. And everywhere where you fear that others will not value your time and effort, let's put all of that in. Let's highlight all of that. And everywhere where there is a fear that it won't be received how you want it to be received, highlight all of that. Yeah, that one's much bigger. Also, will it even be received at all? Let's highlight that. Beautiful. Okay, so let's start to clear that. So everything that is, everything that underpins it, holds it stuck in place, everything that comes from it and feeds it, can we highlight all of that, please? And angels, please flood our systems with so much love and light and healing. As we deconstruct that, dissolve that, delete that across all layers of infinity, dimensions, constellations, patterns, and ancestral timelines. Beautiful. Okay. Everything that gets in the way of you enjoying the process of creation, can we highlight that, please? Everything that stands in the way or blocks or limits the fun, the creativity, the expression that goes with offering something out into the world, whatever that looks like. Can we highlight that, please? And everywhere where it pulls on our inner child aspects, schoolwork, all those times where you felt like what you did wasn't good enough, that might be judged, or you don't want to say it in the classroom, you don't want to speak and be heard with it because it's embarrassing and you don't want attention on you. So everything that is, and everywhere where it's triggering or is coming from your past, let's include all of that, highlighting all of that, please. Everywhere where you have unmet needs relating to these creative processes. Maybe a need for safety, let's highlight that. A need for appreciation, validation, let's highlight that. Perhaps it feels really difficult doing these things on your own and there's a need for connection. Let's highlight that. And again, maybe there's a sense of it being hard work rather than something that you are bringing through you. Everywhere where we tend to make things mentally difficult, where we put resistance in the way. Let's highlight all of that. And everywhere where even a tiny part of ourselves feels unheard, unmet, unseen, unappreciated, unloved, and unsafe. Can we highlight all of that, please? And angels, can I ask you please to pour lots of love, light, appreciation, care, compassion, and safety into all of these places that are showing this. And everything that underpins all of this, everything that holds it stuck in place, everything that comes from it, and everything that feeds it, let's highlight all of that. There's a big old mess, isn't it? Now let's deconstruct that, dissolve that, delete that across all layers of infinity, dimensions, constellations, patterns, and ancestral timelines. Just going to wait for that energy to clear. That's quite big, and it's lingering in the, I can just sense it's lingering. I'll just wait for it a moment. In fact, as we bring that down into the alchemical power, and everything that stands in the way, blocks or limits your ability to trust yourself and your ability to trust that the right people will really appreciate what you have to offer. Everything that is, can you please highlight that? And everywhere where we still find growth really uncomfortable, can we highlight that? And everything that is, now let's deconstruct it, dissolve it, delete it across all layers of infinity and dimensions, constellations, patterns, and ancestral timelines. Keep focusing on that light within you, almost as if you are tossing old bits of paper and photographs and those sorts of things, just chucking them into a bonfire, allowing this alchemical fire within your pelvic bowl to just transmute it, dissolve it, allowing the energy to be used elsewhere. Okay. Anything else in this piece? Everywhere where there's an absence of light, of fun, of play that's connected with this offering, everywhere where it still is work in the old-fashioned context, everything that is, can we now highlight? And let's deconstruct that, dissolve that, delete that across all layers of infinity, dimensions, constellations, patterns, and ancestral timelines. Okay, now we're going to look at that glass ceiling type thing. Okay, what I'm noticing is if we open up our energetic funnels, which connect us to life force energy, to our higher selves, then the glass ceiling ceased to exist. But when we feel separate, the glass ceiling returns. And so this is really important for us to understand, that when we are connected to the universe, to the greater aspects, to divine love, to the higher self, when we're connected to that, when we allow the flow and we stop being just the small human, then we allow ourselves to be connected to the infinite flow of all these good things. And actually, it's only when we begin to separate ourselves, when we struggle, when we over-focus, and we forget that we are always connected, and we begin to shut that down naturally because we think we have to do everything on our own, and we tend to then sit in the energy of by me consciousness, which is where we have to do everything. Everything's going to be done by us. There is no a connection with something greater. When we limit ourselves like that, yep, there's a glass ceiling. It's really hard to shift. So I'm going to share with you what I tend to do. And it's also in the morning practices, which is basically, I open up my funnel, as I call it, and I open it up. I started off with this idea that my funnel was 1 meter wide, and then I went to 1.5 meters, 2 meters. I'm now currently at 4 to 4.5 meters. When I open up, and I might have to repeat this several times a day if I'm doing something tricky, like I am currently in my work, as in website type work, if I remember to keep my funnel open, then I feel energized. The words I need come through me. The information I need comes through me. And this is a timely reminder, not just for me, I'm sure, but it is for me too, for all of us, that we absolutely are given nourishment. We are given exactly what we need if we allow ourselves to open up and receive that from the divine. So we're going to do an EAM clearing statement. So EAM is energy alignment method. I use it an awful lot. If I'm not using my own energy clearing statements, I will use EAM style clearing statements. So what I'd like you now, I'm just going to ask you to close your eyes if you've opened them again, and just imagine that you have a funnel coming from the crown of your head up, 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 and say it goes up about 2-3 meters. I don't really know how far mine goes up, I have to say, but I want you to imagine that you have a funnel, a bit like a dog's collar when they've had an operation. So you're going to have something like that coming up, and I just want you to notice if your funnel is open to 1 meter, does that feel good? If your funnel is open to 2 meters, does that feel good? Does it feel too much of a stretch? And you might need to go higher with your funnel. It might need to be longer if it's going to be really wide. Okay, so I want you to just practice, just temporarily practice, get a sense of what feels like the right distance for your funnel to be open. And you're going to practice doing this every single day and just notice the difference that comes into your energy. Right. So this is what we're going to do to release anything that gets in the way of the funnel being open to the distance that you want. Okay. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm going to do it for 2 meters. I'm going to kind of split the difference. If yours feels that's too much, then I want you to use the measurement that your funnel should be, knowing that it will grow. And as you get used to the sensations, as you get used to the energy that comes through to you, you will naturally allow your funnel to open further and further and further. And what this does is it gives us greater access to our higher selves, to truth, to light, to creativity, playfulness, and high vibrations. Okay, so repeat after me, and we're going to do the thing 3 times. You're going to say it 3 times, and I want you to just have your arms down by your sides. You're just going to have your hands. I like to imagine that your hands are almost non-stick saucepans, frying pans, just that they're open and splayed by the palm. Okay, and now repeat after me. I now release all resistance to my funnel being open to 2 meters wide. I release it from my energy in all forms, on all levels, and at all points in time. We're going to do that 2 more times, okay? I now release all resistance to my funnel being open to at least 2 meters. I release it from my energy in all forms, on all levels, and at all points in time. 1 more time. I now release all resistance to my funnel being open to at least 2 meters wide. I release that from my energy in all forms, on all levels, and at all points in time. Now, as you're sitting here with your eyes closed, just notice how you feel now compared to before we opened up your funnel. Personally, I feel like there's tons more light. I can feel the force of the energy is really, really strong. I am literally juddering my hands. I can feel that, the energy doing that. I feel more sovereign of myself. How do you feel? What do you notice? And maybe, if this feels good for you, jot that down so that when you come back to, and I do recommend you visit the morning practices, because in there I give the full thing that I do for a short morning practice, and the funnel I do every single day. And as time goes on, you'll be able to notice what's different for you from one day to a next day or a week later, and you'll look back and you'll be like, oh, wow, that's so different. This is what I notice now. Because when you first start doing energy work, it can feel like you don't really notice anything, but you do. It's just picking up on the signals, and bit by bit by bit, your awareness will grow, and your trust in yourself will also grow, and the trust in something greater will grow. Okay, so now that we've done that, opening up that funnel, beautiful. Right, what else? Okay, so now I'm just being shown, let's receive the goodness. Okay, so getting comfy again, making sure that your clavicle, your chest is kind of rolled back, so you're nice and open. You can probably see my Harry Potter top on. Allow yourself to really receive the light into the head, into the heart, and directly into the hara. That's your pelvic bowl, where basically your hara is your sacral and root chakra space together. So there's 3 main centers, okay? And as we do this, I'm going to be running Reiki for you. and actually some quantum touch, I feel like. So you might hear me doing deep breathing, which is part of the quantum touch. Okay, so I'm going to ask the angels now and the ascended masters to begin to pour the offerings, the goodness that we each require, down through our funnels, into the head, into the heart, into the hara, filling up our physical and energetic bodies, allowing our emotional selves to be loved, to be taken care of. And in that mix is coming the kindness to yourself, an acceptance of love and care. Is a sense of connection to yourself, to something greater than you. And the love and the joy and the playfulness, the freedom that comes with that connection, with that flowing energy. And the sense of sovereignty, of ease, expansiveness, and peace. All of that. So just allow that to filter through into you. Just going to bring some symbols in. You're a visual person. Imagine that there are hundreds and millions and millions of tiny little molecules of kindness, of joy, of play, of trust and safety, freedom and love, and of connection and sovereignty and ease and magic. In fact, millions and billions of them. And they're moving around your body. They're basically loving each and every cell with pockets of this goodness. And this energy is coming into the physical body. It's softly blanketing and loving in a cloaked, hugging kind of a way the emotional side of ourselves. Our spirit is nourished by the light as it comes through. And our mental energies, our mental aspect is reassured and cared for. Its questions are answered even before it raises or forms a question. Let your mind stretch up and out into the vast space above, having space for all the thoughts as you just receive this goodness into the body. And with this connection with your funnel open wide, let's just place our hands on our heart space and gently ask our hearts, what is it that we need right now? And we ask, we invite the divine to nourish our hearts directly with that quality. And as our hearts are nourished with that quality, just bringing our awareness back to the crown. Visualizing, sensing the light within, the light around. We ask the angels to ground this goodness, this light, this energy down into our physical bodies. And then as we bring this healing session to a close, let's offer any genuine appreciation or gratitude to what we have received here today. And then very gently, looking first down at your own body before opening your eyes, coming back into the room. And I thank you. Namaste. If you're watching the replay, this is where the healing is finished. If you wish to listen to any sharings, then continue to listen as I invite forward. Bear with. Excuse my singing, that was terrible. I'm going to put us on. There we are. Hello, Anna.
Hi.
How did you find that, my lovely?
It was gorgeous. Yeah, it was just felt really, just very deep and just really powerful, but really nourishing as well.
Good.
It just, yeah, I can't really explain it. It just felt really, really held and really supported. And like there was just like
Beautiful.
so much love there.
Oh, there is, isn't there?
Yeah, and I really felt that. I really did. You want to say hello? You want to say
Oh,
hello to Claire?
hello,
Oh,
Gaby.
baby, do you want to say hello? No. All
No.
right, go see Moses. Um, yeah, thank you. It was really lovely.
Oh,
Just
you're really welcome.
yeah, really just a really lovely energy. Yeah, really
Good.
nice.
Can I ask you, because you're not a visual person, you
Mm.
tend to be energy based. What do you notice when you do the funnel thing?
Yeah, so I today I felt it was nice to do it with you actually because I've been doing it a bit recently and then not quite sure. Or I think been forgetting to do it recently actually. What I noticed was just a flood of light, more light. Yeah, I felt
Beautiful.
more. I felt bigger. It
Yeah.
felt bigger with more light, basically. Yeah, yeah. Is that what you feel?
Wonderful. I see a lot of light and then I just feel more me. That's
Yeah.
the only way I can describe it. I don't feel light and fluffy. I feel like I'm more here.
Yeah.
But connected at the same time. Yeah, really connected. But what I found interesting when I talked about the glass ceiling was that actually, as I'd never put the two together, the funnel and the glass ceiling, that actually with the
Mm,
funnel, it opens through the glass ceiling.
okay.
So the glass ceiling is resides around, but if your funnel's there, you're still getting that goodness in.
Yeah, because it's really important, isn't it, to remember as well as doing any clearing stuff we're doing, like in the morning routine, to also expand our energy out, isn't it? Afterward,
Yeah.
it's actually really, really important. Is that the main way that you do these sort of expanding your energy out, or do you do something else as well?
No, that is the main way. I ask it out, and I have my like I say, currently I'm moving towards my funnel being 4.5 meters wide. A couple of weeks ago, that felt way too big, but now it feels like yes, that's where I should be, and that
So,
way I can hold more. In what I feel is that there's more of my higher self coming through. There's more flow.
right, and when you do to know how much, do you just do it on based on how you feel, or do you sway on it?
Um, I used to sway on it. I don't anymore. I kind of go, is that enough? And so
Right,
my intuition is telling me you need to go bigger this week. It's like because it's almost like if we stay at 1 meter, we just keep limiting. Let's get bigger and bigger and bigger. But it's got to be. I felt that there have been times where I've tried to go bigger and I was like, oh no, I'm not ready for that yet. I can feel
right.
the
You can
difference.
feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
trusting your intuition. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Important.
Yeah, it's great. So it's a really important one, isn't it? So there's a morning practice. You've put a morning practice thing on the. Oh, right, great. I have to
In
have a
the
look at
hub,
that.
yeah, where it says morning practices, I think it's the top one, which talks a little bit. So most of it's the first few steps are EAM based, where it's I now
Yeah,
release that stuff. And then
yeah.
there's gratitude practice. And I suggest, because I know you're a big one for dancing, and it's you that made me think, oh yeah, I need to put my favorite, like I love my Cat Stevens. There's a Cat Stevens song I love. Let's put that on, but that's not in the practice. That's part of what I like to do when I need to ramp up my energy more.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
find with the morning routine, there's like so many things I want to do and not enough time
Yes.
to do them.
You need about 4 hours.
Yeah, basically, yeah, exactly, yeah,
Yeah, I totally get that.
yeah.
Oh, bless you. Is there anything else you want to share, or do you feel like you're complete?
I feel like I can't really articulate it. It's one of those where I sort of, it's quite hard to put it to words.
Yeah.
Um, what I kind of felt, but yeah, it just kind of felt like things were like, I think I felt really grounded from the big. I think actually it really helped me doing those. What was
Those
it?
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that really helped me actually. I think I really like. dropped in after that, which is interesting actually, because that is really true with me. I actually really respond well to doing
Yeah,
something physical to help me kind of drop in and get out of my head.
yeah. I
That
think
always
a
works
lot of
really
us
well. And I
need
think,
that.
yeah, that actually made a massive difference actually, because I felt like I suddenly went like dropped in really, really deeply. And it was like boom, kind of quite intense without there being any kind of like chatter in my head.
Yes.
Um, so it felt like it was kind of, I wasn't having to like think about it in any way, which is kind of
Yes.
good, isn't it? It was just kind of working at an energetic level.
Yes, because
Um,
if you can get your brain out of the way, then that kind of just allows, sorry, I'm just trying to switch the music off. It just allows us to be present, because most of the time we spend thinking, I need to do this, I
yes.
must do that next. And oh my God, we are in our brains way too much.
Yeah, and I think I really have been recently, and I've had a really bad like sugar thing going on for various reasons for the last, probably for about the last 6 weeks actually, and gone back to the old habit
Yeah,
of doing that, and that's created such a kind of chatter in my head around all the stories of it, why I'm doing it and what's
yeah,
going on, and um but probably just because it's emotional and I don't really want to feel
yeah,
what's there. But yeah, so it was really nice not to be have that kind of chatter going on.
yeah. But it's
Yeah.
your thing. I mean, it was literally you who said to me, dancing.
Yes, yeah, it
But those
does. It makes,
movements there, they have come from Kyle Gray's Kundalini
yeah,
yoga I was
that's
doing.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I really like them just because I felt like, especially the scoopy, just brings
It's
in
lovely, isn't it?
yeah, just I feel like I've got magic coming through and soaking like sprinkles.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really, really nice. Yeah. It's sort of, I find sort of doing stuff like that, and before you do like a any kind of like sort of meditate where you're needing to be in that sort of deep space, it's sort of, for me, doing the moves, any kind of movement seems to sort of just sort of clear off the kind of, I don't know, it seems to just sort of clear something for me, and then I
Yeah,
can, I don't know, or yeah, I don't know what it is, but it works really well. Yeah.
yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Well
Thank
done.
you very much. Thank
And thank
you.
you
It's
for joining
lovely.
me.
Thank you.
Right, I think it's probably bedtime. Well, definitely bedtime for you by the looks of it. Like the
Yes,
kids are
yeah.
all like, yeah, no. So there we are. But sending you lots of love and
Oh, thank you so
yeah.
much.
And for those who watch the replay, if they have any comments or feedback, yeah, just let me know. Always message by email. I know our Facebook group, I don't really put anything in there. I'm a bit rubbish, so I do apologize for that. But ultimately, I always want to hear back from you. If you've got anything to share, do, because it's fascinating and it helps each of us on our own journeys, I think. I mean, Anna's been on this journey for a little while, as have I. And just by sharing, it reconfirms to us, oh, it's not just me that's doing this. It's not just me that's feeling this pattern.
Mhm.
Oh, that's interesting. And I heard, and it just helps weave things together, doesn't it? So that we can all
Mm,
feel connected. We're not in this by ourselves.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
So thank you, my lovely. I will wish you a
Thank you
wonderful
so
evening
much. Thank
and sending you
you.
lots of love and light.
Oh,
Bye,
lots of
darling.
love. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.